Hello everyone. So today we will talk about CI/CD, that is continuous integration and continuous deployment management, and with the help of Jenkins, how we can do these things. So that we will discuss in today's lecture. Um, so what is CI/CD? So basically, there are two parts. We will go one by one. That is first continuous integration and then continuous uh, deployment or a delivery. So continuous integration is the software development method where team members integrate their work at least once a day. In this method, every integration is checked by an automated build to detect errors. The concept was first introduced over 2 decades ago to avoid integration hell, which happens when integration is put off till the end of the project. So now let's understand what I'm trying to say. Like earlier, as we in our previous lectures, we talk about waterfall model and agile methodology. So we know about waterfall model. So what how it works. So in that, what we do, like uh, let's suppose we have one application. We will divide into several modules: one, model two, model three, and model four. So what development used to do earlier with the help of waterfall model, it used to develop that full model first, then they will test it, and then they will integrate it to their application. So definitely there will be a lot of integration issues, like you are going to test the entire model which may have a several features, right? So that is the reason DevOps, because of DevOps tooling and everything. And the another methodology we came into, that is agile methodology, where instead of uh, developing a whole module, what we'll do, like we have an application to develop, then we'll have a several models on that, then we'll again break down that model into several features, a feature one, feature two, feature three, and that features will be developed independently with the help of our developers, and those will be integrated and tested. So as soon as your one feature is uh, developed properly, it will go for integration, it will go for testing, and next feature will go, and this cycle will repeat till the your whole model is tested thoroughly and integrated thoroughly, right? So that is the reason, like, it made your work easy, because of if you have some error in one of the feature, like in earlier what used to happen in waterfall model, you used to develop whole model first, then you used to test it, then you used to integrate it, and then you used to test it, right? So definitely definitely there will be a lot of chances to have bugs. There will be difficulty to find those bugs where exactly which feature is giving error in that whole model. But because of this agile methodology, where we started developing our application feature wise, one feature is developed, we will integrate it, we will test it, and we will move it to production. So because of that, definitely uh, our work got faster. There were lesser chances of errors. Even if there is error in one of our feature, it was very easy to find it again. We are very, again it become very easy to roll back that particular feature, because we know exactly in the whole, exactly know where the error is in that particular model, right? So so this is how we moved from waterfall model to agile methodology. And while working agile methodology, definitely to automate these things, like continuous integration, like uh, you are continuously integrating some feature to your environment, you are doing testing, you are testing. So, and this, to automate that, the whole cycle again and again till your end product is ready. So to do that, we came into this continuous integration, and we started using some CI tools over there, and that is the reason we came into there are several tools in market, and definitely the one of famous tool, I would say, Jenkins. We are going to talk about Jenkins in our next slide, like how we can do those things. So now you understood, like in a continuous integration, let's simplify it again. Like in configuration, developers will continuously committing code to some source code repository. Like they will committing the feature they have developed to the source code repository. We will have some CI tool in between. It will continuously change that code once, and again we will deploy that code to our environment, and we do testing immediately. We don't need to wait for other features to be developed, and then we'll do a whole testing. So this is how integration testing came in. Like as soon as your feature develop, you can pass it for a further testing, right? So this is about continuous integration. So in continuous integration, after a code commit, the software developer commits are made many times during a day, right? So with each commit code is built and tested. Like every commit will be built and that will be tested. Now you understood like what I am trying to say. Like a software developer will commit their code. That commit Every commit of that code will be built continuously and will be tested continuously. So if the test is passed and build is tested, then the build is tested for deployment. And if the deployment is success, the code will push to the production, right? So this is how CI works. So this commit, build, test, and deploy is the continuous process. Hence the name is given continuous integration, continuous deployment. Now we came from continuous integration. Now we are discussing about continuous deployment. Now you know, like developer will uh, commit their code continuously, and each commit will be built and tested immediately. If testing is successful, it will be deployed, and if the deployment is success, uh, then that new code which is committed which will be pushed to production. And this cycle, commit, build, test, and deploy, will be a continuous process till your end product is ready. And for that process we are given a name, that is continuous integration and continuous deployment. As soon as you integrate something, that will be deployed uh, by doing testing. If that testing is success, it will push to production. Okay. Okay. So now we understood about CI part, and in that we found that is continuous deployment will be there, right? Now the next part is CD, that is continuous delivery. Okay. So again we will talk about agile methodology only, right? So let's see like what in a real world scenario how we use agile methodology. So what we do, like we if you want to develop some product, okay, so we will do some sprint planning for that. Okay, like we will have a sprint. In that we will define some tasks. The task is nothing but the development should be done for that particular product. Basically that our particular product to be developed, it will be broken down into modules, and those modules will be again broken down into features, and that feature will be treated as a task. So this is how we will plan a task list, I would say, in our sprint planning. Like there will be a sprint, like in this sprint we have to complete this much task. Those tasks is nothing but we have to develop this much feature. Okay. So what we do in continuous delivery, what we do, like uh, so we have made a sprint. In that we have defined this model will be developed, and this model will have this much features, and those features will be nothing but our task to be done. Okay. So what we will do, like we will define in a what we do in agile methodology, we will have a sprint planning. uh, so let's suppose now let's suppose we have a one sprint. In that we have defined all the tasks. Okay. So what we do, like as soon as our tasks are completed, okay, now we'll have to release that to production. Release to that production, again that comes into a CI only, right? You as soon as you develop your feature, what developer will do, like feature will be committed to your source code repository. From source code it will build that particular feature, and it will test immediately, and then it will deploy after that. And if the deployment succeeds, then it will push that feature to production. So this is the cycle. So in that sprint this much happens, like you develop that code, develop that feature, you push that feature code to your source code repository. Then that's from source code repository, that particular code is built and immediately tested after that. If that test is successful, it get deployed to the lower environment, that is the development environment or a queue environment, right? So this is how the cycle comes in. As soon as your all tasks from that particular sprints are completed, what you do, now you know, like all features are uh, developed, all features are committed to your source code repository, all features are built in an integration fashion. We have applied integration testing as well, like one by one each build is tested successfully, and now it is deployed. Now it is good to go for a production. So when we say good to go for production, that is nothing but a release. Like we do a release to our production, that this much set of features will be deployed to production. So in agile method, that's what we do. Like usually what team does, like any organization, they plan for 2 sprints. uh, they will work for 2 sprints for that particular model. In those sprints, that model will be developed. Their CI will be done. uh, Continuous deployment will be also done. And after 2 sprints, they will have a one release. That is nothing but a continuous delivery, where that product, that particular feature set will be delivered to your production. Delivered to production, nothing but it will be deployed into your production. This is how continuous delivery works. So continuous delivery is the software engineering method in which a team develops a software products in a short cycle. So now you understood short cycle is nothing but sprints. In sprints, there will be features. That features will be developed. It will be pushed to source code repository. Then build will happen, and then it will be tested immediately and will dep- deployed to lower environment. And if that success, if the deployment gives success, then that will push to your production. So this is the short cycle, I would say. Like you may have a 1 sprint, 2 sprint, and after the 2 sprint, you will be pushing all that developed code to your production. So continuous delivery is the software engineering method in which a team develops software product in a short life cycle, short cycle, and it ensures that software can be easily released at any time. So once your sprint is done, so you can release that particular chunk of code at any time, as you define within your team. Like some of the teams will have some timelines only. Like in that timeline only, that particular release will go to production. So it depends on uh, that particular organization only how they deal with their release management. Okay. So the main aim of continuous delivery is to build, test, and release software with a good speed and frequency. Okay. Instead of following waterfall model, you will be developing whole model first, then you will be testing that whole model, and you will be deploying that uh, model to production. Definitely it will take a lot of time. Like don't know like what errors are going to come when you going to deploy the whole model to your any environment, right? So to have a good speed and have a good frequency, like if your deployment is it's shorter, definitely you will easily able to find all bugs which may have occurred while deploying, or when that code goes to your production, right? So definitely it will speed up your entire process uh, to do things. So that is the reason the main of continuous delivery is to build, test, and release software with good speed and frequency, right? And definitely it will reduce your cost. Again, it will reduce your time as well. Like instead of if anything error comes in your whole model, it will be really easy to find. Like you already know, like from this feature only that error has come, so you can go and do changes over there only. So definitely it will reduce your cost, time, and also risk to delivering changes by allowing for frequent updates in production. Okay. So definitely uh, uh, it will help you to reduce the risk of delivering changes by allowing for a frequent updates in production, right? Instead of doing a bigger size change in your production, it will be really convenient if you have a frequent changes to be done on a production, right? So you can easily roll back to the smaller set of function only, right? Like if you want to roll back, like if you're going to, let's suppose you are following waterfall model. In that, what will happen, like you will be deploying a whole model. So if you want to roll back, you will be directly go back to previous model only. But in case of continuous integration, continuous delivery, you don't need to go back to a whole whole model. There will be some, only there will be error in one of the feature only, so you don't need to roll back other things that will be there only. So this is how it continuous delivery helps you, right? So if you do development without CI, right, if you don't follow continuous integration methodology, so definitely there will be a lot of bugs. There will be infrequent commits, right? It will definitely, like you are going to develop whole model and push it to production. Definitely there will be so slow releases. Integration will be also difficult, right? If something happens, uh, definitely you'll have to roll back the whole model, so integration will be difficult. Testing also will be late and difficult. Like as you are going to develop a whole module, definitely QA will have to test whole module instead of testing in chunks. So that QA team will have to test whole module, and definitely it will take a lot of time, right. And you, and also as I'm saying, like you will have if there are issues raised on your production after deploying your whole module, it will be really harder to find that particular error. Like you will have to traverse to your entire modules code, right? But in CI, definitely you are doing feature wise deployment. So you will definitely know that from this feature only the error is coming. So it will be really easy to debug your error where it is exactly coming, and you can roll it back, or you can solve it in a lesser period of time, right? Right. So so if you want to implement CI process uh, in your software development life cycle, so these are the some tools will some components you will need. That is first version control system, that we already learned about Git in our previous lecture. So Git is where you can store your code, and from that particular repository you will able to do all the activities. You will able to deploy your code anywhere you want, right? You will need one virtual machine, right? So definitely if you're doing some continuous integration, continuous deployment, definitely there will be some machine will be required, right, to host that particular process. So where that particular build will happen, like as we are saying, like as soon as developer commits some code, it will build that code, and then it will immediately test that code. If that test success, it will deploy that code, and if that deployment is successful, it will push that code to production. So to carry out this whole operation, like commit, build, test, and deploy, we will need some virtual machine where that process will be needed. uh, there are several tools in market, like hosted CI tool solutions are available, and even CI tools are available. Hosted CI tools are nothing but you don't need to, like as I'm saying, like you will have to carry out that particular process, like commit, build, test, and deploy. So definitely there will be some tool to carry out these operations, right? So those tools are nothing but your continuous integration tools, right? And Jenkins is uh, one of the tool from CI tools which we are going to talk in today's lecture. But so there are two types, like hosted CI tool solution and CI tools. Like if you are go with hosted, so you don't need to uh, take care of any virtual machine where the CI tool will be installed. Like GitLab CI, if you see, that will done that will be hosted by the GitLab only, right? Uh, if you don't want to use GitLab CI, and if you want to go with your own hosted CI tools like Jenkins, so definitely you can opt for that uh, type as well. CI tools, that is Jenkins, Bamboo, right, and so on. TeamCity is there. Okay. So now let's talk about how continuous integration works. So let's take an example. Uh, okay. So okay. So let's take an example how we can define it. Let's suppose now like you have Android phone, right? So you might have seen uh, you get some updates, right? Upgrades, like in a within a twicely a month, twicely a week, or twice, or two times in a month, or on a monthly basis you get some upgrades, right? Over the internet you get notification on your mobile that this new release has come, and it asks you to install that new release. So if there are some bugs in your other softwares like camera or something else, so that will be solved in that release. Or if they want to add some newer things to your Android phone, so that will also come from that particular release only, right? So now let's take an example. Now we can relate it. So uh, definitely there are Android developers there which they are continuously working to solve the bugs are coming from to solve the errors which are uh, raised by end user like us, like whoever is using that mobile, beta users or alpha users. So that will raise those errors like, see, this is the error is coming. So the Android developer will continuously look for those changes and will do continuous development, right? So that is where GitHub comes in. Like GitHub, Git like tools like GitHub is there, GitLab is there, Bitbucket is there, where developer will continuously developing the code and will push that particular code to GitHub, right? So once that is done, so now again come to our sprint planning agile methodology. So developer will continuously uh, do those things, right? And what they will do, like to do test that, right? So what they will do, like let's take a scenario. There is one company who is providing us that Android OS service in our mobile. Like, let's take an example of Samsung. Samsung is having Android. They are using Android OS in their mobile, right? So there will definitely Android developers in their organization. Okay, and they will continuously developing that code for that Android OS to support the Samsung phones, right? So what they will do, like they will continuously commit code to GitHub, Git, Git like tools like GitHub, GitLab, and so on. Okay, and they may have a nightly build, like they may have a set build on nightly basis. Like as soon as developer commits some code to GitHub on nightly basis, that code will be built first. That build will be tested on some lower environment. If the test successful, then that code will be deployed uh, to lower environment, right? And if the cycle completes successfully, then they will plan the release for that particular code changes to production. So the meaning what I'm saying, like they will be planning to push that code to production, and nothing but you will be getting releases on a monthly basis. Like let's take example, Samsung gives updates on a monthly basis. On every month of on every second first week of month, Samsung pushes that newer version, a newer release to our product, to our phone, and we get notification and we install that newer changes to our phone, right? So this is how developer Android developers will develop their code. They will push their code to GitHub. As soon as new commit codes, it will automatically fetch that code and it will build that code on nightly basis. It will test that code. If test is successful, it will deploy that code. So this entire cycle will be followed by some CI tool like Jenkins, where we'll have a CI server virtual machine in place, and it will take care of these things. Okay, and this particular continuous integration work in a cycle only. Developer develop some code. They pushes that code to GitHub or Git like tools, and then will have a CI tools like Jenkins, where build, test, deploy, commit, build, test, and deploy will happen. And again developer will do those things. So this will be running in a cycle only, like developer, then GitHub, and then Jenkins, and again developer, right? And in between of that, we'll have a release to our production on a monthly basis or on a bi-weekly basis, where user will able to see those new features in their smartphone, right? So this is how continuous integration works. So the features of CI like allow you to maintain just a single source repository. So as we are going to use GitHub, so you don't need to uh, keep your code everywhere. You will have a central repository where multiple developers can work on that repository. So in a real time, all developers will able to face latest code only. They will able to do changes. We already talk a lot about Git, right, in our previous lecture. You can follow that video, right? So that we can do. We can test entire code on our lower environment. So what we usually do, like we always have a development environment, SIT environment, then pre-prod, and then prod. Pre-prod is nothing but exact replica of your prod, where you can do a thorough testing, like how that particular code will work on your production, right? So that we can do, and with the help of CI tool, it will be really easy to deploy your code on any environment, right? Okay, so these are some features, right? And then why we use, like it helps you to build better quality software. CI process helps you to scale up headcount and delivery output of engineering teams. It helps you to conduct repeatable testing. Sorry, it increases visibility, enabling greater communication. right? You can have a immediate feedback when issue arrives, right? You don't need to wait for a longer period of time, like your whole model will go to production, then you'll be doing, we will have a feedback on whatever issues are coming. As soon as you develop something, you commit it, you build it, test it, deploy it, and push to production. Immediate feedback will come from end users, whoever you are using your production environment, right? So this is how CI helpful uh, to helpful in any software development life cycle. Usually we follow CI/CD in our agile methodology, right? So now let's talk about Jenkins. Okay. So Jenkins is an open source continuous integration server written in Java for orchestrating a chain of actions to achieve the continuous integration process in an automated fashion, right? So chain of action we are now already know, like commit, build, test, uh, and deploy, right? Stages, again, there is one stage like where we can do this is the pictorial form, but commit, build, test, and deploy are the generic uh, chain of actions, I would say, to have a continuous integration, right? Okay. So Jenkins is widely used application around the world that has around 300K installation and growing day by day. By using Jenkins, software companies can accelerate the software development process, as Jenkins can automate, build, and test at a rapid rate. So we already know the power of CI/CD tools, and Jenkins is widely being used around the world, like around 300K, 300,000 installations have been done, and they are growing day by day, because there are a lot of features, lot of uh, functionalities are available in Jenkins, right? So it is server-based application and it requires web server like Apache Tomcat. The reason Jenkins software become a popular is that it's monitoring of repeated tasks which arise during development of project. For example, if your team is developing a project, Jenkins will continuously test your project builds and show you the errors in early stages of your development only, right? What I'm trying to say, like, it continuously monitors your repeated tasks which arise during the development of project, right? For example, if your team is developing a project, Jenkins will continuously test your project builds and show you the errors in early stages for your development. Like, it will continuously sense your code, whatever whichever source code repository you have used, there it will sense your code, it will continuously build that code, and it will continuously test that code. So in early stage only you will get to know, like, what as soon as developer code something, commit something to source code repository, it will start building that code, it will start testing that code, and it will show you the error at early stages only. So that is the reason Jenkins became so uh, popular, I would say, right? Okay. So now let's install Jenkins. Okay, let me install Jenkins. Okay. So let's now install Jenkins. I have already one machine I have created where we will do operations. Like, we will go, we'll have hands on how to install Jenkins, how to see Jenkins UI on a browser. It is server based application. Definitely, it is not hosted anywhere. You will have to install on some virtual machine only, and from there you will able to do the CI/CD actions. Okay. So I have already created a machine. So to install Jenkins, just follow official document only. So this is the official website of Jenkins where you will find all those steps. You just have to just go down here, and you will have to go with this LTS only, long time support versions only, right? This is the newer version, but uh, this particular version is need to be stable, right? So this is a stable version, 2.3.75.3. You can go with previous versions also, but usually we update our applications to latest versions only. So if any security patches or if any bugs are there, so that will be solved in that latest application, right? So you just have to select over here like what instance you are. Like, I have Amazon Linux, so I will go with Red Hat, Fedora, CentOS. Here are the simple steps. You just have to copy these steps and paste it in your server. I will do sudo soup first. As I said, Jenkins is Java based application, so it will need Java to be installed on your server. Then only Jenkins will able to run successfully. So I have installed Java. Now I will install Jenkins. Now we have installed Jenkins successfully. Okay. So this is done. So now let's start systemctl, enable Jenkins. Actually, I have a smaller machine, no? So that is the reason it is not working. Let me just increase the uh, instance size. It will take some time. I will have to increase the instance size to 2 core 4 GB. So this is T2 micro now, so this will not work. If not works now, definitely we will jump to Windows only. But these are the steps we usually do to install Jenkins on your any virtual machine. Let's go with t2.media. So it is up and running now. Let's see. Jenkins server IP change. If you are using Windows machine now, so try to use mobile external. It is very easy to access any virtual machine. Now what's the issue? Java is not installed. There was some mistake with that Java command step, I guess. It did not install the Java 11 OpenJDK. Now let's see if that works. Now it is work. Okay. So now let's see if our Jenkins is working or not. See, it started working, and if you want to access it over the internet or the browser, so do nested TLP, and Jenkins default port is 8080. Okay. So now our Jenkins machine is running. Now we just have to go to internet. Let's see whether our security is open or not. Okay. We are just open it for SSH. So let's go here, add a specific rule that 8080. My custom IP, like I will do. Okay, this will be my IP. Save rules. So security is not open. Now if you see, now we are able to see the sign. For the first time, if you want to unlock Jenkins, it will ask you for initial admin password. So they are already given the path. You just have to copy this path, go into server again, just do cat and that particular path. And if you do so, it will show you the initial password. Just copy that password. Again, come back to your UI and paste it into administrator password. And then press on continue. Don't save this password. It will ask you for selected plugins to install or select install suggested plugin. So always go for install suggested plugin. So it will install all plugins they might be needed, right? and when you start using it, it's on you, like uh, what plugin you are going to need. So according to that, you will able to install that plugin easily by going into Jenkins plugin center. I will show you like how we can install Jenkins. So now we are just making our Jenkins server to use for CI/CD, right? So all suggested plugins are getting installed. Now it will ask for some username and password. So I will just put admin, and password will be some easy password as you require. Full name will be DevOps gigs. Just do save and continue. This will be your instance configuration URL. Just click save and finish. Now you can start using Jenkins. So Jenkins is ready now. Okay. So this will be the landing page of your Jenkins. So whenever you hit on the URL with with that specific 8080 port, so it will take you to this welcome to Jenkins page where you will have to put your username and just sign in. So now you are into Jenkins machine. So this is how we can install Jenkins. Okay. So you saw that it asks you to install some suggested plugins. But if you want to install some specific plugin, so if you want to manage your Jenkins, like I want this particular plugin to be installed, so you just have to go here, manage Jenkins section. Just go down here, you will see this manage plugins. Okay, and here you can select install all install plugins. Okay, so there are several plugins they have, it has already installed. Okay, the git plugin. Okay, now if I want to uh let's suppose I want to install one plugin called backup plugin, not a backup plugin. Let me, let's suppose I want to install the Kubernetes plugin. So just go into availables. Here you can type if you want to store credentials. Okay, now let's take another, Groovy. So I want Groovy plugin, so my Jenkins will able to read Groovy script and it will able to perform all those operations written in Groovy. So this Groovy, so install that. So this is how you can search your required plugin and just select. There are two options: install without reset, download and download now, and install after restart. Okay, so always go for this option. So it will safely install your plugin. It will take a restart and you will able to start your that particular plugin easily. So if I click on this, so it will install your plugin. And it is now saying like download is successful and will be activated during the next boot. So just restart Jenkins when installation is complete. It is restarting. Okay, your browser automatically refresh this page again. Log in into your Jenkins. Okay, Now the next item is now let's suppose we are continuously talking about this particular part, right? Uh, GitHub, Jenkins, and developer. Now let's integrate our GitHub. Let's take a example like we have some GitHub repository, and now we want to integrate it with our CI tools, right? So what we will do, like we will come here, we will click on this new item where you will able to write jobs. There are several jobs. Okay, so you will have some item name like DevOps. You are going to write some CI pipeline to we will be seeing the scenario like developer have pushed some code to your GitHub repository. Now Jenkins, your CI tool server, will pull that code to do uh, further operation, right? To do that build, test, deploy, right? So to do that, we will be creating one job. So let's give an example like project one. Select this freestyle project. Once that is done, click on OK. So this is, you can have some discussion like this is to test scenario where Jenkins pulls latest code from GitHub repository. Not just GitHub, any Git oriented source code management tool like GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket. Source code management, click on Git. It will ask you for repository. From internet, we will try to uh, deploy any open. It's Artifactory. So let's try to uh, pull this code. So we will copy this particular Git repository URL. Okay, it is just a scenario I'm trying to show you like how Jenkins will pull code. Okay, now we will add this URL over here. It won't require node. Now you can see the error over here like failed to connect to repository, error performing git command, git ls hyphen remote hyphen. So it is what exactly it is trying to do, like it is trying to list down the remote this particular remote repository with the help of git command. So this command, this error is nothing but it is asking, it is searching for that git command which is not installed on your Jenkins machine, right? So that is the reason it is giving this error. So what you will have to do, like just go back to your server. So whatever operation will do, if that particular command is not there in your machine, so it will definitely throw error. So we will install git over here. Yum install git. Now git is successfully installed. Now you can see here something I have. Okay, let's go back to project. So now the error is gone because git is now installed, right? And it will not need any credential. Okay. So once that is done, okay. So this is how we will integrate our Git repository with our Jenkins to use that code which is committed to your repository uh, to do further build, test, and deploy. If I click on build now you can see here. Now it is trying to build. So build now is nothing but it will try to pull that code, right? So let's you can see here like it is trying to pull that code here. Now you want, if you want to see this code, now I will show you where the code is exactly going into our server. So if you come back to server and if you uh, go to var lib Sorry. Inside this, if you go into workspace folder, so here you can see you whatever project you have created. Here it is the folder of that folder for that project. Go inside that folder, and you will able to see your whole code is cloned inside this particular project which you have created on your Jenkins machine, right? So workspace is the default directory where default directory on your Jenkins server where it will try to do build for that particular source code repository, right? So from further you can do anything with this code, like you can see a Docker file, so you can build a Docker file. uh, this is basically Golang based code, so you can build a package using go commands, right? So that can be done. And we talked about plugins, right? So if you want to see the folder of the directory of that folder plugin, so here also in this also only varlib Jenkins, inside that plugin is the folder. If you go inside plugin folder, you will see all the plugins installed over here only in the form of JPI. So .jpi extension used in a Jenkins for plugins. Okay. Now, if you want to have a, let's go back to first page of Jenkins here only. Now you want to uh, create a new users in Jenkins, and you want to manage permissions. Okay, so that is also can be done. So just go to manage Jenkins again. So if you want to do any admin level task, to manage Jenkins will be the section where you can do all those administrator level tasks over here. Like just not just like manage plugins, we have a manage user section. Okay, where you can create, delete, modify users. Okay, so just go click on manage users, create a new user by clicking on this particular button, add a new user like developer. There will be some password for the developer user. It will asking for some pass use email address. Okay, now you can see we have created a developer user. Okay. Okay, so that is done. Now you want to give a role, like admin will have a whole access, like admin can do anything, like admin can go into that manage Jenkins as well. But developer, we don't want developers to be go into that manage section. We don't want developers to administrate our Jenkins servers, right? So we'll have to restrict our developers, right? So we'll have to create one role to do that. Okay, so how we will be doing that? Okay, so what we'll do, we'll have to add that plugin first. So again, come back to dashboard, come into manage Jenkins. Now you want to create a role for your developer, right? So we'll have to add that plugin into your Jenkins. Okay, go into available plugin section, search here for role based authorization strategy. Okay, so just download and install, and it will start running after restarting our Jenkins. Okay. Okay, let's sign in into our Jenkins again. Now we have installed that plugin, that role based authorization strategy. To create a role, we need that plugin, right? So now we want to create a role, right? So again, go into manage Jenkins section. Now we have login using admin user only, right? Uh, and then go into configure global security. Just go down and go inside this authorization, select for this role based strategy. Okay. Once you select that, just save this setting. Okay. So once that is done, you are in manage Jenkins only. Just go down, and here you will find this new option, that is manage and assign roles. Just click on this particular section. Okay. Now you want to create a new role. Okay. Now go into manage roles. Okay. Uh, Now add a new role, that is developer role. Okay. And what developer will have access? A developer only will able to uh, build job. Okay. it The developer will not able to configure a job. The developer will have access only to build a job. Okay. And to read that job, nothing apart from that will be given. Developer will not able to delete that job. uh, okay. Let's have a replay as well, like the developer can replay that particular job. Okay. Okay. But other like credentials management or administration tasks will not have that access control to developer. Okay. Developer will just log in into that and will able to see that job only. Okay. Now let's save this particular role. Okay. Once that is done, now we want to assign that role to the developer user which we have created. Now let's come back to go into assign role section. Okay. Now what DevOps gigs is our admin user, so it is having admin access. Okay. So let's add a user. Okay. The developer user which we have created, we have added over here, and we are giving him the developer access, developer role only. So this is how. Okay. So once that is done, just click on save button. Okay. Now if you log out and try to log in using that developer user, a developer is not having overall read action. Okay. We'll have to add that read permission as well. Now you can see like how we can manage role access control for any user we have in our team, right? So that is how we can use this role based strategy. Let's go to this, to manage and assign roles. Go into manage roles. Let's developer have a overall read access. Now let's log out. Try to log in using the developer user. See, you can see here developer is able to see the jobs, but developer will not have a access to manage Jenkins, right? This is disabled. That is restricted to administrator only. And if developer clicks on this develop DevOps project, so here also you can see developer will not able to configure the job. Developer can only build that particular job. Okay, so this is how we can have a role based access control in a Jenkins for our users. Okay, so this is so crucial. Whenever you will see the Jenkins in your organization, so you will find this role based access strategy is already implemented uh, in your CI/CD. Okay, you can again drill down like it's overall, but if you can give a project level based access as well. Okay, so let's again log in using admin user only. Okay, let's again go into manage Jenkins. Here, let's create two projects first. We have already one project. We will create another project called DevOps project 2. This will be a freestyle project again. Just click on OK. Okay. Now I have one tester user, but I don't want to give access of DevOps project 2 to that tester. The tester user should able to see only DevOps underscore project 1 only. So how I can do that? Just go into manage Jenkins. uh, let's implement on developer only. I don't want to see another show another job to developer. Okay, so what I will do, I have already created that role, right? Here I can add this role. We have a developer role. I will add pattern like what. See, I can add pattern like this. I don't want to give any access to developer project 1. So if I do so, let me check that project name first. Okay, that is right. Now if I do log out, if I log in into developer, there is some issue with my patterns. But this is how, with the help of pattern, you can restrict developer or any user to some project only. Okay, let me figure out. I've done. This is something I wrong. Developer. I just want to show him. Okay. So whichever user starts with developer underscore star. Okay. So that particular user will have only developer role access. Like that will be able to see only will able to read that job only, not to run or anything. Okay. So this is how we can add a pattern. Okay. Let's have a freestyle job now. Okay, I will have one Java simple hello world Java program on Git. Okay, what we'll do, we will try to run this simple Java code. Okay, with the help of these commands. So how we can do, like we will have that, we'll clone that code into our Jenkins first. So let's come back to our Jenkins. Let's create a freestyle job. Now we are seeing how to write a freestyle job. So simple Java program. We have already installed Java on our Jenkins machine, right? Now we want to build that. So we'll select for this freestyle job, click on OK. Here you can have some description like simple Java program. Select for this source code management. Copy your code over here. There are no credentials required. Come come here and select for build steps. Okay. We will have a execute shell. Okay. In that we will be writing this particular commands. It will compile that code first, hello world.java, then it will try to run that code. That class file, whichever it will be created through compilation, that basically Java C, it will build your program and it will create a class file. Then you will try to run that Java, that hello world program. Just click on apply and save. Now click on build. Oh, it is not working. Okay. There is no Java C install. I will have to check. Now you understood what happened, right? Let's install Java C in CentOS. Okay. Java 17 is so latest, no? For Java, Now we have installed Java C as well on our machine. Let's again come back to this and build now. So this is run now. See, we are able to compile our code and we are able to run our hello world program using this. This is how we can build our source code. And right, like what we have done, like we integrated our Git repository with our Jenkins first. Then we added that build steps, right? It will compile the Java code first and then it will run. And then we clicked on build now. So it build our code. So you can have further stages, like you can do testing after that, like how it will be working and all. So this is the freestyle job. So now you know. Okay. So this is all about CI/CD and Jenkins CI tool. That's it from my side. Thank you.